The world, the Middle East, our ungrateful allies in Europe, even segments of our own press should be saying one thing to President Trump. Thank you. Thank you for the courage to stop this terror state from holding the world hostage with missiles while building or attempting to build a nuclear bomb. Thank you for doing the work of the free world. Yesterday's ceremony reminded us why we fight. Not for nation building or democracy promotion, but to crush direct threats to America, Americans, and our interests. We fight to win, and we are winning on our terms, following our objectives.
You heard it here from the Department of War dude, Pete Hegseth, a man with symbolism invoking white nationalism tattooed on his body, demanding we thank him and POTUS for all of this that's happening.
Instead, like so many other places driven by a radical ideology, they've spent that money instead of investing in their people. And that's why you had millions of Iranians protesting, because they felt like their condition, quality of life didn't match what it could be or should be. And what was the Iranian state? There's a reason we call Iran the #1 state sponsor of terrorism, because they took the money they make and they invest it in tunnels, and they invested in missiles, and they invested in launchers and UAVs, and we are destroying and degrading that in historic proportions. But it doesn't mean they won't still have some and try to hold people at issue, which is why we're fighting every single day to continue to compel. And you mentioned embassies and consulates. Unlike previous administrations, we are doubling and tripling down on ensuring that our people, regardless of their Department of War, Department of State, whatever they do, are secure in those facilities. And the best defense is a good offense. And so we're not afraid to go after and kill anybody, and we have a lot of them attempting to target our diplomatic facilities. Iran, we're not surprised that they would indiscriminately target, and we're still seeing that.
As Dr. Abdul El Saeed tweeted, wait, say that last part again, about investing in weapons instead of investing in people.
Both what happened with Midnight Hammer and what happened with that as well. As far as $200 billion, I think that number could move, obviously. It takes money to kill bad guys. So we're going back to Congress and our folks there to ensure that we're properly funded for what's been done, for what we may have to do in the future, ensure that our ammunition everything's refilled, and not just refilled, but above and beyond. I mean, President Trump, as he said, rebuilt the military in his first term, didn't think he'd use it as dynamically in his second, but he had. So thank goodness he did that. And an investment like this is meant to say, hey, we'll replace anything that was spent. And now that we're reviving our defense industrial base and rebuilding the arsenal of freedom and cutting deals like our great deputy secretaries here is doing, long lead times on exquisite munitions, we're going to be refilled faster than anyone imagined. Ultimately, we think this should be these munitions are better spent in our own interests at this point. And this kind of funding bill is going to ensure that we're properly funded going forward.
Think about what they would rather fund with our tax dollars. Endless wars benefiting the military-industrial complex and not helping everyday Americans who are struggling.
Do we have any overt or covert forces inside Iran now?
I wouldn't tell you that if we did.
Only reason I ask is earlier this week you said no. Is that still the answer?
Yeah, that's still the answer, but we reserve the right. We would be completely unwise if we did not reserve the right to take any particular option, whether it included boots on the ground or no boots on the ground.
Considering we have seen all we need to, why and how is this man still employed after Signalgate? Did we just forget? Speaking of incompetence.
Well, Japan and US are very good friends, but one question, why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. When we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
Just an incredible answer here. As we have seen, Trump is not only targeting Iran, but he has his sights set on the World Cup. Not long ago, he put out a Truth Social post stating he wants Iran to not attend because he claims he could not guarantee their safety. Absolutely ludicrous. With FIFA head Gianni Infantino just going along with all of it. As the president kept talking about his desire to not have Iran participate, the Iranian FA was in talks with FIFA to have their matches moved to Mexico. To no one's surprise, guess who stepped up? Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, stating the country would be more than happy to host 3 more World Cup matches. Iran is set to play against Belgium, Egypt, and New Zealand. However, it is, of course, not Scheinbaum's decision, but Infantino's and FIFA. On the women's side, the squad opted not to sing the national anthem prior to their opening match at the Women's Asia Cup. They sought asylum in Australia. In the end, all but 2 would return. From The Guardian, activists have accused Iranian authorities of pressuring the women's families, including summoning parents for interrogations, but Tehran has in turn alleged that Australia sought to force the athletes to defect. Rights groups have accused Tehran of systematically pressuring athletes abroad by threatening relatives with the seizure of property if they defect or make statements against the Islamic Republic. Here's my 2 cents, and I think this is very, very easy to understand and comprehend if you had a lick of media literacy. What we saw from Pete Hegseth was him saying that Iran is state-sponsored terrorism, and Iran this and Iran that. And they don't invest in people, they invest in weapons. And in the same breath, that's why we're asking for $200 billion for more weapons. Like, what? What, man? What? Why? Come on, man. Don't play in our faces. Don't do that. That was dumb. That was really stupid. Coming from a drunk, stupid person who cheats on his wives, pays out a $50,000 settlement, pays $50,000 so there isn't some pursuit of litigation. I mean, come on, dude. Come on. The tattoos, the approach, everything sounds like a drunken fool, because that's what he is. This is who we have in charge now. This is it. These people, these ghouls, these buffoons, these warmongers, these warhawks are saying that they are the problem. You are not going to see any apologist notion from me. Sorry. But what I do believe in, and what I go back to, I was having a conversation with my dad, is that what we should do is always take a page out of Michael Brooks. That's just how I feel, and I will think that way until the day I die. Be ruthless with systems and kind with people. I don't think 150 school children should die with us footing the bill. That is a simple formula. If you have the smallest amount of a moral fiber within your being as a human, I don't think kids anywhere in the world should be massacred with my tax dollars paying for it. Insane. And yet there are so many that continue to sign up for it. Why the 4-letter word are you thinking like this? Why the 4-letter word are you not speaking out against this? They're just people, man. They're people. They're people who live a great deal away. And because they want to install their own American-backed leader, what they want to do is have essentially another coup. Not for it. I'm not. You know what I think? I think that $200 billion should be spent on us. That's what I think. I think we should reopen libraries that have shuttered. I think we should fix the potholes that have never been addressed. I think in large parts of the country, we should have Wi-Fi instead of dead signals for miles upon miles. I think we should have healthcare. When you talk to someone outside of this country what you pay for healthcare, and then when they follow up, oh, so everything's covered when you pay that, right? No. Look at their faces. This is the grifting states of America. And we are the ones that are essentially being, we are being the cattle for the billionaires in the top 1% who continue to make profits off of this. It is disgusting. I hope Trump stops talking about the Iranian men's soccer team, because it is a disgrace to be the leader of the free world and be attacking a team because you're bombing their country. Pathetic. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.